Hey, it's me, Brooks. Welcome to Heal This. How's everybody doing today? I wanted to start with a little story. So, my mom and I have always been really, really close. She is an amazing person. She she just really has this way about her of letting people in and listening to them and providing this really amazing space for you to just be yourself. And it was very interesting to come to the realization that she was very in tune with her kids, myself and my brother. She always had mother's intuition, but more than that, sometimes I know she could feel us even when we were far away from her. And the first example of that I can remember as a young person was in my sophomore year of high school, and I was having a really bad day. Like, that age, 15, whatever, it's awful anyway. So it was just a really bad day. I mean, I was crying in between classes, and I probably should not have even been at school because nothing was, coming in. I wasn't getting anything. It was just, I was really, really struggling. And I was in a class that just ended, and I started to walk out of the building that it was in to go to another class. And this person was walking straight to me and holding a note. And she said, "I'm so glad. Here you are. Here's your note. Go to the office." And I'm like, what? I just, what is going on? Now this day is getting worse all of a sudden. So I go to the office, and, the person at the front says that your mom is on the phone and she wants to talk to you. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what is going on? And so I'm like, "Hey, mom, what's up?" And she says, "Are you okay?" "Yeah, I think so." And she said, "Well, I keep feeling very strong, like there's something really wrong. Are you okay?" And of course, I just want to burst into tears, but I'm standing in this room with all these other people, and I'm like, I can't talk about it right now. I'll talk to you about it later. Okay, as soon as you're done with school and you get to where you can call me, call me. Okay. And I, hung up the phone, and I thought about it, and I thought, how would she even know that? Because that morning I didn't really see her, and um we hadn't really talked about anything, but she knew. She knew there was something up. And she and I always could feel each other, and we could send each other messages, kind of like reading each other's minds, which is pretty awesome. And I would say that my brother was included in that too, but I don't want to speak for him. So then years later, I moved away. I was not living close to her, and I kept getting this really strong impression that she was going to get very sick and possibly pass away, which is not something that I really want to think about. Definitely did not want to think about. And so I go to visit her, and I said, "What's going on? How are you doing? How are you feeling?" "Oh, I'm okay. I, you know, the doctor says that I probably have diabetes and I need to do some things different with my life. So, um, you know, I just thought, okay, so this is what it's going to be. So I took some action, and I bought her a gym membership for a whole year, and I got her a little iPod shuffle, and I put some music on it that I know she would like. And I took her to the gym and I said, okay, so, you just get on the treadmill for a little while and you can sign up and have someone help you do some exercises. And then, I'm like, okay, I can teach you how to eat foods that will help you and, um, all of that. And she was willing, but it was also kind of like, yeah, I'm not gonna always do those things. And so I kind of just let it go because I didn't really know what all that meant, but I knew it meant something. And so some time goes by and I'm not really sure how she's doing all the time. I mean, we talk like every day, but she's not completely upfront with me about her health. Probably didn't want to hear me lecture her or tell her to do things different. So I just kind of let it go. And then on a particular day, I had not heard from her. And then the next day, I did not hear from her. And of course, now into the second day when we usually talk almost, pretty much every day, I was calling her and I was saying, what's going on? Call me back. I want to know how you are. And into the third day, I was like, okay, something's up. She would have called me by now and something's going on. I waited and she eventually called and reached out. And when she called, I'm like, where you been? What's going on? It's been 3 days. Like, I haven't heard from you. What's going on? And she said, well, I wasn't feeling well. And, I didn't really want to call you unless I knew what was going on. And I thought that was strange. And so I said, well, what's going on? And she said, well, I had a cough and every time I coughed, it would just hurt so bad. And she showed me on her right side where she thought she maybe had cracked a rib somehow. So she went to the emergency room because she said it was excruciating pain. So she went to the emergency room and they did an x-ray. And then after the x-ray, they wanted to do a couple other more tests like CAT scan, blood work, all that kind of stuff. And at this point, she said she basically had been at the hospital for 7 hours and with no answers. And then a doctor came in the room and said, we're going to have you and your husband come into an office. She thought that was really strange. She'd worked in the medical healthcare community for many years and had never heard of this situation before. So a doctor now goes into his office and sits behind a desk with her and my stepdad and said, well, you have cancer. And she said she laughed at him and said, you have the wrong file. You made a mistake. I'm just here, with a little cough. And he said, no, you have cancer. And it is stage 4, inoperable lung and liver cancer, oat cell carcinoma. And when she told me that, I about fell on the floor and couldn't breathe because I knew what that meant. And I knew that her time was limited. So I said, what happens next? And she says, well, I go to a cancer doctor, oncologist, and we will set up a plan. And that will most likely consist of chemotherapy and radiation. So, okay, well, when can I come see you? She said, well, just wait because We don't really know all the details. And of course, I didn't want to wait. So we all went to go see her when she started her chemo because we knew she would feel okay at the beginning and then not so okay. So she started that long process. The doctors had given her about 6 months. And at that point, we were all in shock. She elected to do every kind of chemotherapy that she could and every kind of radiation that they recommended. So she did chemotherapy and radiation, basically alternating them. And, she passed the 6-month mark, and she passed the year mark, and she passed the 2-year mark. And pretty soon after that, I found out I was going to have baby number 4, which she was very excited about because she was looking forward to being around 9 months from then. I still continued to talk to her every day and see her as often as I could. And she came out to visit for when the baby was born. And baby number 4 was 13 days late. So he was born at home. But in those 2 weeks prior to him being born, whew, I was doing good. But in the 2 weeks that she was there, I knew that she did not have very long on this earth. And I asked her every single question I could think of. And she spoke her truth. Whew. She told me things I never knew. She told me things I'm pretty sure she didn't tell a lot of people in her lifetime. And she got so many things off of her chest. And it wasn't all serious. We had a lot of fun. And we laughed. And we cried. But I could tell that it had taken a toll on her. Battling for almost 3 years. Something that they said was going to take her life at 6 months, right? So she had been battling for a long time. And she was very vulnerable, and she spoke her truth. And I'm so grateful for that. I'm so grateful that I was able to hold space for her and listen to her. After all the years she listened to me. Sorry, there's going to be lots of edit. And when it came time, she was in the room for all 4 of my babies. And I was there holding my brand new baby when she left her body. And I'm so grateful. Now, not too long after she passed on, She started to come visit me in my dreams. And these are not ordinary dreams. These are not things that I'm going to share every one with you. But she taught me things like forgiveness and that she's still alive and that she's learning and that she's still with us and protecting us and giving us messages. And most of all, and one in particular time that she came to visit me, I was able to see her. And it was the most amazing thing I've experienced energetically. And it changed my life. And in that moment, when it changed my life, I knew that I could never not speak my truth again. So I'm here to tell you, speak your truth. You can't live your truth if you don't speak your truth. And if you don't know what your truth is, figure it out. Start aligning yourself with Source. If Source is something that you can prove to be true scientifically, or if Source is love, if you are connected to a higher power, start aligning yourself with that deep, unconditional love. Ground yourself every day. Sometimes it's best to go outside, and if you can't, you can go outside up here. Do meditations, connect. But I'll tell you what, it's one of the most common things that I tell people is to speak your truth. This right here is your throat chakra. I feel like it extends like this. So our eyes, our ears, our nose, our mouth are all part of our throat chakra, even down into right above or right below our clavicles. So this is the stuff we have to get off our chest, which is part of our truth, speaking our truth. A lot of times people will have jaw problems, throat problems, thyroid problems, neck problems, back of the neck problems, because your chakras come from the front and the back of our bodies. Even ear problems, because our truth is something that we hear and see and speak, but also that we feel and know. So speaking our truth is a big deal. It's kind of leading the way for us to actually live our truth. And if you don't speak your truth and you hold it back, you will start to manifest pain in your body in those areas where you're not speaking your truth. This is something that I've talked about before. Everyone is made up of cells. Our cells are little tiny brains with a nucleus or a little computer, and our cells know everything, they remember things, and most importantly, they believe everything we say. And they have no choice but to believe what we are broadcasting over our bodies. And that's our thoughts and our emotions and the stories we tell ourselves that are tagged along to all of that. And if you are not living your truth, for instance, you're just going along and it just doesn't feel good and it just doesn't feel right, you'll feel it in your body. and a lot of it will be up here. I mean, even the back of the head, right in through here and the back of the neck, all of that anxiety and being tense from holding back your truth. So I encourage you to speak your truth. And how can you do that? I encourage people to talk in their car when they're by themselves. Nobody's going to know you're talking to yourself or just speaking your truth. Like, I was really upset when you said this. Nobody knows that you're just talking to yourself, but you're speaking your truth. And here's the thing, when you start talking or expressing yourself, sometimes that's through song, sometimes that's through just, yelling or screaming. Try to do that, maybe not directed at someone. When you let out what you need to express, sometimes you hear yourself say something you didn't even know that's how you felt. So don't hold it in. Also, take it from someone who spent a lot of years holding back their truth, feeling repressed and not being able to express who I truly am, and not having the safety or security to be able to express my truth. I am grateful that I get to do that now, and that I get to help others and hold space for them so that they can express their truth. A client gave me permission to share the story, so I want to share a story with you. A client came in. She said that she had been in an accident, and ever since the accident had some throat issues. And of course, it would make sense that something would show up after an accident, but after many tests and physical therapy and chiropractic work and massage work, she still was having this problem more in her throat than in her neck. So when she came to see me and she was telling me all of this, I asked her the question, what was happening before the accident? Was there something happening in your life before the accident? And I don't mean right before the accident. I don't mean the second before the accident. I mean in your life around that general time. Was there something that was happening to cause you to hold back your truth? And she said, yes, there was. And I had a boss that was not being good to me. And it was really hurtful. And when she said that, I saw an energetic snake around her throat. And that snake looked at me. And I said, okay, I think we could start now. So I knew what was going on and I knew what I needed to do. So she got on the table. The very first thing I did was ask that energetic snake to go to the light and to leave. That it was no longer welcome and that it needed to release her and go. And so by connecting to source and more light and asking that energetic snake to go, it went. And then I proceeded to do some other work on her. And afterwards she said she felt a lot better. And I told her, you need to get your power back and you need to speak your truth. And by speaking your truth and standing in your power, you will feel stronger and you will feel more like yourself than you've ever felt before. So sometimes we do have energetic cords or blocks in our throat chakra or around our throat that are stopping us from actually speaking our truth. And sometimes that might show up as needing to clear our throat all the time, or maybe it is from feeling like you can't swallow, or maybe your teeth hurt. So there's a lot of different reasons why energetically that can show up. It could also be something that's not even yours. We have lots of times we pick up stuff that's somebody else's, or it has been passed down energetically or genetically. And we can even pick up stuff while we're in the womb energetically. So trapped emotions can be there. These are all things I can help you with, and I can see you in person, or we can do a virtual appointment. But after that, your work is working on your thoughts and your emotions and the energy that goes along with that, and speaking your truth and redefining your story so that it aligns with your true authentic self. I want to be real with you. I want to share my healing journey, and I want to encourage you to share your healing journey with me and others, because we are here to help each other and learn from each other. And I learn something new every day, and I'm so grateful. So I hope that you will join me in the movement, right? To spiral up and heal this. Speak your truth. Thank you for letting me share with you.